The Supreme Court in Abuja declared Mr. Valentine Ozigbo the authentic candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, for the November 6 governorship election in Anambra State. Well, in the judgment, a panel of justices led by Justice Inyang Okoro threw out the suit challenging Ozigbo's candidacy and awarded the sum of $5 million as damages against Senator Ugochukwu. The panel also affirmed the decision of the Court of Appeal, Oka Division, delivered on the 3rd of September, which declared Ozigbo the authentic governorship candidate of the PDP. Mr. Ozigbo was present at the Supreme Court premises along with former governor of Anambra State, Mr. Peter Obi, and Senate Minority Leader, Senator Enyinaya Abaribe. And who won in the court today is won twice. Whether or not, as he enters the race, if there is any luck on his side in the main battle, Mr. Valentine Ozigbo, the candidate of the PDP, joins us now. Thank you so much, Mr. Ozigbo.
Thank you, Sheriff.
And I guess the congratulations in order.
Very much.
It's not easy to climb from the Court of Lower Jurisdiction to the Supreme Court and win. How does that feel?
Actually, fantastic. You know, for me, it's not just a victory for Valentine, it's a victory for PDP, it's a victory for Anambra people. We are shifting away from the dysfunctional past. If you look at the people who we're contending with, I will say to you, they've contended with what we consider the right things. And I thank God that not just that we got that victory, but you also needed to see the landmark achievements we're making. The appeal court, you needed to see the president of the Court of Appeal affirming and basically warning, councils to desist from creating distractions. And in the appeal court, in the Supreme Court today, you also needed to see the presiding justice again frowning at how people see precedents have already been established over and over and yet you keep bringing frivolities. And in the world, something that was done, you could consider a naming ceremony is what they're using to distract people. Look at how much time we've lost. We should have spent this time engaging our people at the grassroots. But I thank God finally it's over. With this, I think there's no other place to go to. There are other cases around. This is just one of the cases that went to Supreme Court. There are actually two today. There were actually two that were handled concurrently at the Supreme Court level. So at this point, there's no other existing case at the Supreme Court. Okay, so let's now look at your campaign now. The question is that what are you telling the people of Anambra State? What are you bringing to the table? I say a number of things to them. Number one, please look out for content of character. Look out for competence, capacity, compassion. Look for someone with enough dose of emotional intelligence. Look for somebody who you can simply describe as a good man. Somebody accessible, somebody who can listen, somebody who is humble. Content of character is something we miss out all the time. Forget about who gives you more money. Forget about who has done some little favors for you or somebody considered a philanthropist. Look for these sort of things, soft issues, so important. Because when you get that right, you are getting the leadership question solved. And second part, look out for the party. There must be party that your people accept, that you feel you can give the right identity, protect our people, that can give the spread so that our people can actually aspire even further. Unfortunately, among the three major parties, APC isn't that party. It's obvious that they're not on ground in Anambra State. At the same time, APGA is losing ground massively. As a matter of fact, APGA can take us anywhere beyond just Anambra State. So if, for instance, we're looking to have a Southeast or anybody becoming a president of Nigeria, APGA is not an option. And therefore, among the three major parties, PDP is actually that party that ticks all the boxes. And number three, also look at how people emerge. I keep emphasizing, you don't just, even if you're a good man, coming out of a right party, or you emerge through a wrong process, where your hands are all the time, where you've been taken to shrine and done such nasty things, you know what? You're not going to be able to achieve the
You are not able to go to the shrine.
How can?
Or are there situations where people go to the shrine?
They won't even summon the courage to approach me on that.
So it is true what they say. True, I mean, because these
Some
are
people,
just
some people do,
rumored
some
that,
people do all that
that
kind
they
of
go
thing.
fetish to get into power.
It is not just in Anambra. Politics is. This is why people usually consider it dirty. But we're here to prove a point that no, actually, it's such an important business. Only 10 people should be allowed to play it going forward. And this is why I'm happy that we're succeeding, because what this is going to do is open up to professionals and clean-minded people to come into politics. But before you go to another question, there's also the last part of what I'm telling them, which is the promise. What are they coming to do? What am I coming to do for the Anambra? And this is where we actually evolve our manifesto, the things, the promises, the sectors that are important, the clusters that are important, the partnership we need to foster. How do we fix the roads? How do we fix educational institutions? How do we fix power? How do we fix any one of these major things, especially insecurity? Look at how Anambra has turned out to now, the bad news all the time. How do we fix that going forward? So these are the promises that I will bring to the table, and thankfully, momentum is building to a level that it looks like it's going to be a home run.
I'm going to be very specific and direct in some of the areas that you have mentioned, of economy, human capital development, yes, and of course security of the yes, people and industrialization. Yes. These are critical. I mean, from my findings about the Anambra State, it's a very germane issue that the people are looking forward to. The question is that, what are your plans in that respect? But I'll come to that just in a moment. First and foremost, let me get your reaction to what the NSA said today after the meeting with the president. The service chiefs met, and they were talking about the security situation in Anambra State, how non-state actors seem to have taken charge in terms of directing and dictating how things flow. Sit at home and everybody sit at home. What's your reaction to what the federal government said today, that they're going to bombard Anambra State in such a way that they hold on to it in such a way these non-state actors will not be able to perform?
You know, I feel pained that we characterize Anambra in this form. This is a state that, if you look back, have always been the pride of this nation. That's why we call ourselves the light of the nation. What we're seeing here is failure of leadership. And leadership orchestrated over a period of time. When you have a sense of hopelessness, all manner of criminality abound. This is what I'm saying. Why do people agitate? They agitate because the older generation haven't done well enough. And this is why I'm happy we're also discussing this when we're marking first anniversary of NSARS. There's a lot of things we need to end, not just SARS. Bad leadership is one of it. When you see people getting unconventional, taking to the streets, agitating, because I always want to go back to the root cause of whatever is happening. But that said, I also want to advise, the only way we can solve a problem is that you find a leader who the younger generation will find inspirational. I can tell you, once they see the right person that can give them that sense of hope, when they know there's somewhere they're headed to, that if I go to school and I come out, there's a job waiting. That if I run my business and my environment is competitive, and there's something they know that they can become, self-independent and self-sufficient. That if I also go to school, I am certain the quality of education I'm getting. If I am sick, there's a hospital that can take care of me. If you have that human capital index properly covered, I can tell you half of the criminality we're talking about will disappear. Then, about what the NSA is saying, obviously, this election period, there's need for everybody to ensure that there's safety of life and property. And so it is actually expected, even when security issue isn't this rife, usually, massive deployment of security forces happen. It happens. It has happened in all the other states that conducted elections recently. So it's expected. What I want to tell my people is, it's okay. It's okay to welcome the security forces, but it's also okay to ensure that You know, we will need to raise our voices when we see anything going wrong. I am hoping also the civil society will be there to shout if anything untoward begins to happen. But for now, let's take things positively and move on.
Right.
And I say this because it's so important for them not to live in fear, not to feel intimidated. I want them to come out so that the will of the people will suffer.
Okay. So it brings me to the question, how are you going to handle, should you be the governor, handle the situation of IPOB?
For me, I already started by sharing with you, if you become an inspirational transformation leader, which is what I'm hoping to become, first and foremost, they will know that I have not been the problem of the past. They will see me as a solution provider. They are going to be willing to give me what we call a holiday period to see how and then I will start from day one to show evidence that we are turning things around. We will begin to take things, first 100 days, first 180 days, and they'll see that we are making progress. I can tell you, nobody in the right sense will see that we are on the upward trajectory and they start to create the mayhem. No, they will shift to other places. That's number one. Number two, we're also not going to tolerate criminality. We're going to show force. We're going to show that indeed we're doing enough. And so if there's still some elements of people who, I'm not generally talking about IPOB now, I'm talking about criminality. There's still elements of people who are creating havoc within the society. Make sure we investigate, make sure we have the right intelligence, make sure we punish detractors. But for IPOB in particular, I feel the agitation is founded on the paucity of leadership over the period of time. And I think that it is important that we begin to sensitize our people that we can actually still function within Nigeria if we begin to show proper leadership. It is when I believe that there's nothing good that can ever come out anymore. And you know why that's happening? Because all leaders have failed in the past, especially the current one. So, and the failure of leadership, especially even at the center, we have really, really failed this country. When do we do the things that can help us catch up with the rest of the world? I am here because I am also uncomfortable with the status quo. I'm here because I feel there are a number of things we can do to change our story. And they will see me as that authentic voice for an Igbo man and woman that can help in shaping our things and identity within the country of Nigeria.
Let me hit one or two issues within the frame of time that we have left. First and foremost is the doing business in Anambra State, the economy of Anambra State. There is an airport in Anambra State, which we understand that is partly cargo, partly passenger. You like that idea? Is it a good idea for you as a businessman?
For me, I am happy that we do have an infrastructure airport, but I feel that what the current governor has done with such paucity in judgment call, to have abandoned governance just because you're acting on one project isn't the way to govern. In Nigeria, nothing you can be proud of at this point in time. No roads, insecurity. I mean, look at what we've been talking about. There's nothing to be proud of. That man selling akara, that man in Ose Market, that man in Ochanja, have nothing to do with the airport. Yeah. But that said, what I intend to do is to maximize the use for that airport. I want to see how we can leverage the cargo and make logistics simpler and make Anambra more competitive. Because, indeed, it's also in an area I intend to build what I call agricultural processing ecosystem.
Because I was going to ask you, that yam, palm product, rice, maize, cassava, these are citrus products. These are things that are synonymous to Anambra State.
Correct.
But I'm not sure how much of that is being maximized. In specific term, how would you do it?
See, for me, I've always told my people, you don't make enough money from peasant farming. Just go to the farm, harvest, and sell. We've got to move on to where we process, where we store, where we market, or we export. How do I do that? I want to unleash the power of the private sector. I want to create a right ecosystem, enabling environment, and actually follow through. If it means a PPP, I will do so. If it means we set up a consortium where the state government has a little share, but put the private sector on the driving.
You don't have the blueprint yet?
It's all started. As a matter of fact, if you look at manifesto, the idea, the how is all developed. But you need to get on board, especially within the period of transition between November 7, by the grace of God, and declared governor-elect, and March 17. We will fine-tune this because we need to be mindful that here I am thinking maybe we have debt of maybe 130 billion naira, maybe it has gotten up to 200 billion. It's important we do a deep dive into the capacity of the state to do certain things. So we begin to scale things in phases that are feasible.
I have two quick questions, which within the next 60 seconds or thereabout, I'm told I have left. The first being, Anambra State, out of the 5 states of the South, is perhaps as the largest or the most, the largest commercial hubs. You have Nnewi, you have Onitsha.
Yes.
The question is that those commercial hubs have potentials to do more.
Yes.
Do you have specific plans for them?
Oh, yes. Again, I am Onitsha is a ghost of itself. It's not functional the way it should be. We intend to fix the infrastructure there. We actually, ultimately, will start a process for developing port systems around. We want to have Anambra people import things with less hassle so that the harassment they suffer will go down. We want to also treat little issues like the toutish harassment you see people face, multiple taxation people face, undocumented, and we want where people can feel that they live like where human beings cohabit, and not where things are done haphazardly. So we want to create systems that work, from water to power to gas infrastructure, and with this, Onitsha shall become more competitive. And the same thing in Nnewi you mentioned. We intend to situate our industrial hub there. There are a number of things we feel we can do. We can, when you cluster things, you actually enjoy economies of scale. Costs will go down, Anambra becomes more competitive, and people become more prosperous.
All right, we need to close now, and this is a direct question.
Yes.
How many jobs do you hope to provide or to create within the next, within the first 100 days, should you be elected?
100 days, you can only provide government-based jobs. So for that, we can be targeting about 20,000 jobs. But the type of number I'm looking to attract is what we can do by making private sector more comfortable. It's actually not government that provides the most of jobs. It's actually the private sector. It's the big companies and the SMEs. And to get things done in that manner, there's not much you can do within the first 100 days. So we're talking about achieving up to 1 million jobs in the next 4 years. And we have phases in achieving that. And also taking our GDP and revenue to a level that Anambra can become really, really more comfortable.
Mr. Valentine Ozigbo, thank you so much for talking to us tonight. And I wanted to say thank you. Congratulations again for the victory today, and I wish you the very best.
Thank you so
much, Mr. Ozigbo. Well, that's our show for today, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kim.